everyone, welcome back to another video. Today in this video I really wanted to share my love for the Crayola colored pencils. If you've been watching my channel for quite some time, you know that I've done quite a few tutorials with these wonderful pencils, and I think a lot of us tend to dismiss these pencils because we are adults now and we're coloring. And so we don't want to use the pencils that we used when we were a child. But in this video, I'm going to show you why you should have yourself a set of Crayolas. So in this video, I'm going to talk all about my Crayola colored pencils, tell you why I love them so much. We are going to compare them to an artist grade set of pencils. And if you're just starting out and you're just discovering this hobby, I am going to show you in this video why you probably don't need to run out and get yourself a set of Polychromos or Prismacolors or any of those more expensive pencils. If you check the description box, I will have everything that you see in this video linked down there, as well as my Facebook group, my email list, my Etsy shop, and my Patreon if you'd like to support me there. I also have channel membership. If you would like to find more information on that, you can click the join button down below the video. So one of my absolute favorite things about the Crayola colored pencils are the colors that are included in this set. So I'm just going to flip through the case really quick. This is the 120 set. You can get them also in a set of 100. You can get them in a set of 50, and they even sell much smaller sets for super cheap if you just want to try them out in your coloring books. But to be able to have enough colors and put together color combinations, you really need to have a bigger set. And right now on Amazon, this set of 120 is right around $27. Now they do fluctuate between, I would say, right around $24 all the way up to $32. Now I haven't seen them for $32 or up that high in quite a long time. Lately they've been staying right between $25 and $27. But let me just flip through the case so that you can take a look at the colors, and then we are going to take a closer look at the pencils and also check out the swatch chart and what the colors actually look like. Because with the Crayolas, the color on the barrel is not going to be the same color that you see once you swatch them out. Now this case is a bigger case because I do have all 120 colors from the 120 set in here, and I also have my Colors of the World set, which is an additional set that you could purchase that comes with 24 colors, and you can purchase that set on Amazon for $4.56. But as you can see, there's some really gorgeous colors in this set, and I am going to show you the swatch chart so you can really see what the colors actually look like all laid out. But I do want to mention they also do have a set of 150 that was just released and sold only at Walmart. I did actually just go online and check my local Walmart, and I think I'm going to go pick it up because it does come with an additional 6 colors. In the 150 set that you can get at Walmart, you're not going to get all 120 colors that are included in this set. I'm going to try to go ahead and put up the swatch of the back of the box in this video right here. In this 150 set, you're going to get 112 classic colors plus an additional 32 colors from the Colors of the World. Now in my set, I just have the skin colors. I don't have the additional colors that are included in this set. They added a black hair, brown hair, blonde hair, and then a red hair. And they also added in some eye colors for brown, hazel, green, and blue eyes. They also added in an additional 6 colors, which are Cool Mint, Cray Yellow, Powder Blue, and y'all, if you've been watching my channel for quite some time, you know how much I love light blues. So I think I'm gonna have to grab this set just because they added in a light blue, but then you get a color called Oatmeal, Eggplant, and a Lavender, which is a gorgeous color. It actually looks very similar on the swatch to the Lavender in the Prismacolor set that is no longer, but I would have to actually have the set so I can do a comparison. But I'm really wondering what colors out of this 120 set are not included in this new 150 set. So I'll have to do a little bit more research and find that out. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with the Crayolas, I'll go ahead and show you what they look like, but they do have a round barrel. They are a very hard pencil. They do have the color name right here. This one is Lilac, which is a beautiful color. They say Crayola on them, and all of the barrels have the writing in gold. And the way the writing is, I would say that it is sometimes very hard to see, at least for me it is. That is the one thing about the Crayolas that kind of bothers me. but it is what it is. Some of them you can see the name pretty well, depending upon what color the barrel is of the pencil. Here's what the leads look like. When they come to you originally, they are going to be pre-sharpened. I would suggest sharpening them because most pencils do have a wax protective film on the tip of the pencil just for protection in shipping and such. And so you want to make sure you get that off and your pencils will perform much, much better. A lot of times if you get a new set of pencils, no matter what set of pencils it is, if you feel that they are a little bit scratchy, if you sharpen them, you will have a much different outcome. Now I really want to show you how hard these pencils actually are. So I am going to use my doll to show you that. If you've watched a lot of my pencil reviews, you know that I do take the pencils, put them into the doll, and then you can really tell how hard the wood is on the pencils dependent upon how hard it is or how difficult it is to be able to turn this lever here. Now this is one of my favorite pencil sharpeners. If you don't already have one of these, it does sharpen every single colored pencil under the sun, whether they're square, hexagonal, no matter how hard or how soft they are. This pencil sharpener actually saved my Prismacolors. I had so many broken leads and such, and ever since I've gotten this pencil sharpener, I've never had another issue with my Prismacolors, and I've never had an issue with the sharpener. I've had it for quite some time. So I did break the tip of my pencil so I could show you actually how hard the wood on these pencils are. But you can see it is much harder to turn it. So the doll will stop and you'll feel it sort of release when it's done sharpening, and then if you push the button and take your pencil out, the front will go back in. But that is the tip, the nice sharp tip that the doll gave me on my pencil. I really, really love this pencil sharpener. Now I'm gonna put a polychromos in here and I'm going to show you the difference in how much easier it is to turn the lever. Okay, so I have a polychromos here, and the reason I'm comparing these to the polychromos and using the polychromos as my pencil to compare the Crayolas to is because when I'm using my Crayola colored pencils, I find that they lay down exactly the same as a polychromos does. Even though the polychromos are an oil-based pencil, the Crayolas are very hard wax, but they go down in the same way and very similarly. I actually did a video called Revealing My Secrets for Crayola colored pencils. I talked a lot about how to lay the Crayolas down to get the best performance. But let's go ahead and turn this. And you could see even with the polychromos that it was a little bit more difficult to turn because these are a harder pencil. If I were to put a Prismacolor in here, it would turn super, super easy because those are made with a much softer wood. Okay, so now let's take a look at the swatch chart. One of my absolute favorite things about the Crayola colored pencil set are the colors that are included. Now in this set, you are going to get some gorgeous colors that you're not going to find in any other colored pencil set, and I'll give you some examples. Some of these very bright, gorgeous colors, which are some of my absolute favorites, I have not been able to match in any other set. This Heat Wave right here is a gorgeous bright orange. Sizzling Sunset, outrageous orange, and Atomic Tangerine is one of my absolute favorite colors. I've actually used this color in a couple different videos and put together color combinations. I am going to put together a Crayola playlist, and I'm going to link that in the upper right hand corner so you can go and watch all of my Crayola tutorials. But just in case you're wondering if this color is included in the 150 set that is available at Walmart, it is. I know a lot of you in my Facebook group, since you've seen me use this color in a lot of my Crayola tutorials, you were concerned about whether or not it does come in the 150 set. Now you can get that 150 set at Walmart for only $22, but you are losing a few colors out of this set. I just am unsure which ones it is yet until I do a complete comparison. But as far as these colors, the Heat Wave is included in the 150 set. The Sizzling Sunset is included also. Outrageous Orange is included. Atomic Tangerine is included. This Fiery Rose is another one of my absolute favorites, and it is also included in that 150 set. And then Lemon Glacier, this is another another beautiful, bright, gorgeous highlight color. I absolutely love that color. It is also included for those of you that may want to get the 150 set instead of the 120 set. I would have to assume that the colors that they left out of the 150 set that were included in this 120 set are most likely some of the not so popular colors. I would have to assume that these bright, gorgeous colors no one wants to live without. But just for these fluorescent colors that you get in this set, they're just amazing, and they're totally worth having the Crayolas just for those colors, even if you mix them in with other pencils. Now, there are some beautiful shades of yellow. I love this golden yellow. I use the mango a lot. This pink flamingo right here, I absolutely love. That is also included in the 150 set. The winter sky, I love as well. But these two here are fairly close. I wonder if they left that one out of the other set. No, they actually included it. So you do get the winter sky in the 150 set as well as the pink flamingo. And I will try to link the new 150 set from Walmart down in the description box below. I know you could order it from their website or go pick it up at the store. But look at all these gorgeous pinks you get here. You get some really beautiful pinks. You get some very different, unique mauves. A dark mauve, a mauve, and then this color called Mauvelous, which I use quite a lot and absolutely love. I love some of the names. This one is called Fuzzy Wuzzy. And this pale rose, I don't really know about this. This looks really gray to me, but it's called Pale Rose. So that one is a little bit confusing. It's kind of like a gray rose color. It does have a little bit of a purple undertone to it, so it's very different and unique. I don't know that you would find a color like that in any other set. You do get quite a lot of purples in this set, and then we go down to our blues, and one of my favorite blues is in this set, this Absolute Zero. I absolutely love this color, and I love mixing together the Absolute Zero with the turquoise and this green blue, or the Absolute Zero, the turquoise and the blue bolt, or the Pacific Blue. But there are so many beautiful colors in this set. And then as far as our bright, beautiful greens we could use as highlight colors, we've got the Arctic Lime, the Spring Frost, and this Screaming Green. I absolutely love the Screaming Green. I'm obsessed with that color. I use it so much. That is also included in the new 150 set. I love this palm leaf color. And I do also want to mention all of these colors here in the blues. They are all very, very unique. They're kind of like blue grays, and they're very, very pretty. And we do get quite a good selection of browns. You can see all the different shades of browns and tans and beige type colors we get here. We've got a couple more greens, and I am going to be making a swatch chart for the 120 set and making it available in my Etsy store soon. I've just been super, super busy, and I've not gotten around to it yet. But we do get enough grays. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grays. We get some cool grays and a couple warm grays, and then we get a black. And then I did also want to show you the colors that are included in the Colors of the World set, but this is the 24 set. Like I said, from looking at the swatch chart of the 150 set that has just been released not too long ago, it looks like there are a few more colors in that set, making it a total of 32, where they included some hair colors and some eye colors, which is really, really cool. But these are the colors that were available in the 24 set, and you get quite a good selection of darker skin tones and lighter skin tones. But hopefully soon I will be putting these in a better order and creating my own swatch chart. I'm really excited about that. So you can see now that there are some really unique colors in this set that you really can't get anywhere else. Some of these colors are just so different, and there are not matches in my Polychromo set or my Prismacolor set. This is a fantastic set to have in your collection if you want to mix some of these colors in with either your artist grade sets or some of your budget friendly sets. If you decide you want to mix your Prismacolors with your Crayolas, they work together really, really nicely, and the extra bit of wax, the really soft wax from the Prismacolors, do help the Crayolas to blend a bit better. And you can try that trick really with any budget set that doesn't blend like something like a Prismacolor. As most of us know, if you have a set of Prismacolors, they just blend with ease and they sort of just smush together. But even adding a little bit of white with your white Prismacolor to some of these is a really great way to get your other budget sets to blend a little bit better. Now, that's not to say that these don't blend really well. I'm going to show you what I've done in some coloring books if you've not yet seen any of my tutorials, so that you can see how beautifully they do blend together. Now, if you do have a set of Crayola colored pencils or you plan on purchasing a set of Crayola colored pencils, the one thing about the Crayolas is it's very important to have a swatch chart and have them all swatched out before you use them. And I'm going to show you why. This is Absolute Zero. This is one of my favorite blues. Y'all know how much I love light blues. Now this is the Absolute Zero, and this is what the barrel looks like. Now if you look here at the Absolute Zero on the swatch chart, you could see that the barrel does not look anything like the actual color swatched out. If you look at the tip of the pencil, it doesn't either. So if I hold the swatch chart much closer, y'all can see that that is the tip of the pencil. That is what the color looks like on the swatch chart, and it looks nothing like the tip of the pencil or the barrel. Now there are some that do look similar. For instance, this is Bluebell and this is Bluebell here. This is the tip of my pencil, this is the swatch, and I'll hold it closer so you can see, but that one looks much more similar, and the barrel looks not exact, but it is pretty close. Here's another example. This is Jazzberry Jam, and I'll hold this up a little bit closer. This is Jazzberry Jam here, and you can see that the lead of the pencil is quite a bit darker than what you're going to be able to get out of the pencil. I mean, it's not as big a difference as what you see with the Absolute Zero, but there still is quite a difference. So if you go lay this down, you're going to get a much lighter color than what you think you're going to get, and the barrel looks quite a bit darker than the actual color. It looks closer to the magenta. And here is just one more example. This is Purple Mountain's Majesty, and look how much darker the barrel of the pencil is than the color there. And you can see that the tip of the pencil is actually much darker than what you're going to get from the pencil as well. Even the violet here, this even still looks darker than this color. It does look much more like this navy blue if you're looking at the tip of the pencil and you were expecting to get this color out of the tip of the pencil down onto your coloring pages. So that's why it's super important to make sure you swatch out all of your Crayolas. Those are just a few examples, and there are many more on here that do not match up to the color on the barrel. When you're putting together your color combinations, you don't want to have to spend a whole lot of extra time swatching your colors out, not knowing what color you're going to get from that particular pencil, and it just makes it so much easier. This is Johanna Basford's Rooms of Wonder, and this is the US edition. This was done with Crayolas. I absolutely love the way that it turned out. I do have a little bit of stickles on here because the little gemstone was so super small, but I do have a tutorial on this and I will link it in the upper right hand corner. But this is only Crayolas. I didn't use anything to get them to blend together. They blended together beautifully. If you put the right colors together, you've got the right color combination when you're using your Crayolas, and you've got a really dark color, a nice mid-tone, and a super light color. They come together beautifully. You can see all of the highlights, all of the shadows, and I just really love them. But I will definitely link this tutorial in the upper right hand corner. I think I did also use some Posca or a white gel pen on here as well, just to intensify those highlights as well as the stickles for the gemstone. And the Crayolas work beautifully in this coloring book. Again, this is the US edition that has a little bit of the smoother paper. I do have both editions of the book, but I have found that the Crayolas work really well in this particular book. Now this is Nightfall by Maria Trolle. Y'all know I love this coloring book, but this was another tutorial I did on my channel. I love this. That is probably the Screamin' Green that I used in there that is just popping off the page. And you can see that I used it with very dark, intense colors, and that is how you get the Crayolas to work really well. If you are really particular in choosing your colors and you choose a really light color with a fantastic mid-tone and then something that is very dark, and even if you want to intensify those darker colors, you can also use a very dark gray to come in and go over your darkest color and then go over it again with your darkest color in your color combination combination, and that is a little tip to get them to work a little bit better. But the trick to using these colored pencils is when you're laying them down, lay them in very light layers. And I'll link the tutorial for this particular butterfly, but I love this butterfly. I love the blues and the greens. You can see again, I use stickles on the wings, but I just love coloring butterflies, and the Crayolas work beautifully in the Maria Trolle coloring books. Now, for those of you that have Black Widows, this was a tutorial I did using the Black Widow colored pencils, and I love how that turned out. But if you look at the comparison of these two, look how much more intense the colors are from the Crayolas. I mean, is that not crazy? I mean, I could have probably chose different colors to make this a lot more intense, but this is just a sample of the colors that are included in the Crayola set. I'm pretty sure that green that is just screaming is the Screamin' Green. Actually, if I hold this swatch up here, it looks like I might have used the Arctic Lime and possibly the Screamin' Green. I would have to go back and look at the video. That might even be a yellow. That actually might be the Lemon Glacier. Here's the Lemon Glacier right here, and it looks like that might be what that is. But that is what is just screaming off the page, and that's one of the very unique, I would say, fluorescent colors or neon colors that is included in this set. But those colors are just popping off the page, and the colors that are the more bold colors you can clearly see. But those of you that have the Black Widows, I wanted to be able to show you this so you can see a comparison of the Black Widows. I wouldn't even at this point consider the Black Widows a budget set, because once you purchase the whole entire set or all of the sets combined to have the whole 180 colors, you're spending well over $100. And with the Crayolas, you're getting 120 colors for $27, or if you decide to go with the 150 set, you're getting 150 colors with all of those other really cool colors I mentioned included for only $22. This here is also in Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford. This little jar here was a video that I did testing out the Prismacolors and the Polychromos in Rooms of Wonder, and all of the green, the trees, and all of this grass, those are all done with Polychromos, and the background here is all done with Polychromos as well. And then I believe the top here is Prismacolors, and the gems and the little house I think are Prismacolors as well. So this cute little jar is a combination of Prismacolors and Polychromos. And if I put it next to my butterfly, if you were to just look at these, you could never tell that I used artist grade pencils here and very basic budget friendly Crayolas here on this butterfly. You would never ever look at it and even know. If you compared this butterfly to the grass that I colored here inside this jar, I think they look very comparable. I've got lots of highlights popping off the page, and then I've got lots of shadows, and you can see the bolder colors and see the highlights. And the same here with the butterfly. It's just a different color combination, and the colors in the Crayola set are much brighter and more vibrant. That's why these look like they may be popping off the page a little bit more, probably because of that glacier yellow, which is a very fluorescent color, and you're not going to find colors like that in the Polychromos. That is because they can't create colors like that are completely light fast. And as we all know, the Polychromos are a artist grade set, and they are light fast, which the Crayolas are not. So you can see just by some of these comparisons that you would never be able to tell if you looked at someone's coloring page if they colored in a Crayolas or they used a more so artist grade set of pencils, because they're going to look very similar, and in some cases the Crayolas may even look better just because of some of those very unique colors that you get in that set. So the next thing I want to do is I want to show you a comparison between the Polychromos and the Crayola colored pencils. And the reason I'm using the Polychromos is because I feel like when I'm laying down the Crayolas, they lay down very similar to the way the Polychromos lay down. You have to lay them down in very light layers, and that's how you get the color payout to be what you want it to be, and to be able to see all of those highlights and your shadows, and to get the color to just pop off the page. If you're using something like a Prismacolor, Those of you that have Prismacolors, you know they just sort of smush together and they blend with ease. And these two pencil sets are very different than that. Even though the Crayolas are branded as a wax-based pencil, they do say that they are a very hard wax, and the Polychromos are an oil-based pencil. But in this situation, I feel like that really does not matter. You can have an oil-based pencil that performs a lot like a wax-based pencil, dependent upon the ratio of oil to wax. So we're going to put together a couple color combinations, one for Polychromos, one for Crayolas, and I'm going to try to match the colors up as much as I possibly can. I don't know how successful I'm going to be with that, but let's see what we can do here. Okay, so I think I have some color combinations and I've matched the colors up pretty well. So for the Polychromos, I have cobalt blue greenish, which is right here. And then my midtone, I'm going to use middle phthalo blue, which is right here. And then I'm going to use light phthalo blue for my lightest color, which is right here. And then for the Crayolas, I'm going to use my favorite, Absolute Zero, which is here, Sky Blue, which is here. And for my darkest, I'm going to use True Blue. That was the closest match to the Polychromos, even though it's not exact. And y'all, if you're ever following a tutorial online, and they're using something like Polychromos and you want to use Crayolas, if you have all your colors swatched out, it makes it much easier to be able to match your colors up to whatever the other colorist is using. Now with the Crayolas, when I am laying them down in my coloring books or even doing something like this, I like to leave them in the order of darkest to lightest. The Absolute Zero was my lightest, and the Sky Blue was my midtone, and the True Blue was my darkest color. Now even by looking at the barrels, you could see, like what I said before, where the barrels do not necessarily tell a story, so to speak. The Sky Blue, which is my midtone, you can see that the barrel is actually a bit lighter than the Absolute Zero, which is my highlight color, and so it's very easy to get confused and lay down the wrong color on your coloring pages. So I always like to hold my pencils in the order that I'm going to lay them down from lightest to darkest. So we're going to start with the Crayolas so that we could test out the color payout. Compared to the Polychromos, I'm going to lay down my lightest color first, and again, very light layers works with these. Then I'm going to grab my midtone, and they go down super nice on this Spring Hill paper. But I laid down my midtone and I pulled it into the lightest color. Now I have my True Blue, which is my darkest color, and I'm very lightly going to pull this color down into my midtone, and look how beautifully they blend right there at that transition. Now I'm going to come back and do the same thing all over again. Start with my Absolute Zero, and I'm going to lay some more of that lightest color down. Then my Sky Blue, I'm going to start at that transition and pull this color down into my lightest color, and then I'm going to use the darkest color and pull that down into my midtone. You could see already that I'm getting a very nice color payout from these Crayolas, and I've only laid down a couple layers so far. So we are going to grab the Absolute Zero, and we're going to start here at the lightest color, and I'm going to go back and forth in an up and down motion and pull this color up into the midtone. Now I have the Sky Blue, and I'm going to do the same, and you can see it's filling that white of the paper. I'm just pulling the color down into my lightest color, and then I'm going to take my darkest color, and you can see that it's getting darker as I continue to come back with these very light layers. Now I think I'm going to grab the Sky Blue and go back over this one more time and pull this down into the lightest color, and then I'll come back with my Absolute Zero, go over that transition area to try to get a really nice blend there. But you can see that they blend together nicely. They do perform really well on the Spring Hill paper if you decide you want to print out some PDF coloring pages and use your Crayolas. But I think I'm at maybe 4 or 5 layers, and it's still taking color, and that's because I'm just using very light layers. You can see the color is getting darker and still laying down. I still haven't covered all the white of the paper, and then I'm going to start at that transition. I'm going to start applying a little bit harder pressure, and then I'm going to use my lightest color and go the other direction. Now you can see that I got a really nice blend. I really still have not not colored all the way to the paper. That was maybe 6 layers, and I could still lay down more color if I wanted to, but I really want to show y'all the pigment payout and how many layers it takes to actually get the color down there and fill a lot of the white of the paper. We're going to do the same exact thing with the polychromos, and we're going to see what the difference is, or even if there is a difference. So I'm going to start with my lightest color, and I'm going to lay these down just like I did the Crayolas. So I've got light phthalo blue, and I'm going to lay this down right here, right next to the Crayolas. And then I'm going to grab my mid-tone, and I'm going to lay this color down, and I'm going to come down and pull it right into that lightest color. And then I'm going to grab my darkest color, and I think that these are laying down a little bit more color than the Crayolas did initially, but not by much at all. And the colors are a little bit different. They're not an exact match. This Absolute Zero is a much lighter color than the blue that I chose here, but I'm gonna come back and lay down another layer of my light phthalo blue and pull it up into that transition there. And then my middle phthalo blue, pull it up into that transition. And then my darkest color. And I am using light layers just like I did with the Crayolas. Now the polychromos do have more color payout, but they are an artist grade pencil. So we're talking $180 or so for 120 pencils, compared to right around $25 or $27 for the same amount of pencils. So let's lay down another layer, and I am going the other direction now, just like I did with the Crayolas. And then we're gonna come back and lay the darkest color and pull that down into the mid-tone. Now let's start here at the bottom and do the same thing again, because that is what I did with the Crayolas. Now I'm going to lay down my mid-tone, and then I'm going to grab my darkest color and lay just one more layer of that. I think that I have the same amount of layers down there with both pencils, but you can see that they both look very similar. They both are showing the same amount of the white of the paper. They both still have very smooth transitions between the colors. You wouldn't be able to just show this to somebody and have them guess, and they would know this is Crayolas and this is polychromos. And it's the same when you're coloring in your coloring books. When I use my Crayolas in my coloring books, they perform really beautifully. Now do remember though, it's all about matching your pencils to your paper, so they are going to perform better in certain coloring books over other coloring books, but it's the same thing for your polychromos, your Prismacolors, or any other colored pencil set that you are going to use. Always match your colored pencils to the paper you're using or the paper in a particular coloring book. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if you are a beginner and you're just discovering this hobby and you want to purchase some colored pencils, you don't need to go all out and spend a couple $100 purchasing a full set of something like a polychromos. You can start with a cheaper set like the 120 set of Crayolas, or if you want to, go to Walmart and pick up that 150 set that they now have, and you can get that one for, I believe, right around $22. But don't feel like you need to spend a whole lot of money for your first set of colored pencils. And if you've been coloring for a while and you don't yet have a set of Crayolas, they are so fun to have. They are fun to color with, and you could see by my blend test here that you really can't tell the difference between the Crayolas and the polychromos. I did show you some comparisons in some coloring books, and even in that comparison in the coloring book, the green and blue butterfly that I colored, it just screams off the page. It just pops everywhere, and you could see all the darkest colors and all those highlight colors and how they just pop off the page. But just with these colors that are included in the Crayola set, there are some gorgeous, bright, beautiful colors. You've got plenty of dark colors, plenty of lighter colors, plenty of mid-tones. You can create so many beautiful color combinations. I do have a color combination video for Crayolas, and I will link that one in the upper right hand corner as well. But I'm going to try to put a playlist together of all of my Crayola videos, and I will try to link that in the description box below for you, so that you can just go check out all the Crayola videos, learn the best way to use them, learn how to put together the best color combinations, and have fun with them. But I absolutely love my Crayolas, and I just wanted to make this video just to show y'all why I love them so much and share with y'all everything you need to know about the Crayola colored pencils. But I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.